Alrighty. Thank you so much, everyone who is joining us today and everyone that is going to watch the replay. So excited to be with my friend Robin today. She is going to walk us through some amazing information in an area that I know very little about, and that is with the cutest name ever, taking care of our forever friends. So we're going to talk about natural ways to support man's best friend. And with that, I'm going to turn it right over to Robin for her to tell us where she's from and then get into her material.
Hi, everybody. My name is Robin. I'm originally from Canada, but I'm living in Israel for 18 years now. I have a pretty extensive background, including 29 years or more in the paramedic field. And one day I decided to go into the natural medicine field. So when I learned about doing this in the natural medicine field, I decided I came to the conclusion that our four-legged forever friends are also very similar to us, and we could apply this same technology and treatment process to our buddies, our furry little buddies. I've used this particular type of treatment even on my own best buddy, who's now 7 years old, to help him overcome cancer and a severe allergic reaction to a particular brand of dog food, which seems to be an ever increasing epidemic with our furry little friends. The last year, over at least five major dog food brands have been recalled. And just recently, there's been a bunch of even cat food brands that are now being seriously considered for recall. So, hi, Roxy. I've already helped several pets with this way of treatment, including, as I said, my own buddy and another dog who unfortunately is no longer with us, but I was able to help him extend his lifespan and make it more comfortable for him for an additional 2 years, including increasing his appetite and his energy level so that he could live fairly normal life instead of just lying in bed all day. So with that, it was sort of an aha moment for me, how similar our bodies were to humans, and treating humans naturopathically, we could also treat our bodies naturopathically. And that's when I began to do more and more research about what we could possibly use and what the pros and cons and the restrictions were for treating our buddies. Surprisingly, not so many restrictions. There's a few different like aromatherapy oils that we can't use for them because they're toxic for them. But we can do pretty much everything else. We can do reflexology, aromatherapy, massage, you name it. It's an open game. Some of the things I'd like to talk to you about today is why it's beneficial for us to take a more natural approach to taking care of our buddies. And the main thing is because just like us, well, first of all, let me start with their food. There's many problems with commercially produced food. There's a lot of additives and colorings and other chemicals that, just like in humans, affects them too. Why not? I mean, we look at for ourselves. We look at many different ways to get more natural type things in our lifestyles, or at least a lot of us do, and to not have to take conventional chemical medicines or try to eat better and not eat processed foods. So, and what the benefits of that are, we tend to have less illnesses and feel better, and we're not so tired, and we don't get the headaches and all the side effects of everything that's in the food. Same thing goes for for doggies. So, and also a lot of times, just like with humans, when something doesn't work out in the conventional medical field, we turn to the alternative medicine field. Um, and okay, it takes a little bit longer to take care of the problem sometimes, but they're far better off and there's less chances of side effects from this type of treatment. Um, uh, so, what are some of the benefits? Let's start with, like I said, with their diet. There are so many ideas and ways that you could do this, but the problem is people say, "Well, I do it for myself, but why would I put all that extra time into doing that for my dog? It's got to be way more complicated, and it's got to take a lot of time." Honestly, not really. If we plan our dog's food preparation around our own preparation times, or even let's say in the evening, now that winter's coming up, it's even easier because now if you have a slow cooker, or some people call it a crock pot, you can very easily stick everything into that. It takes maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops to prepare what you want to put in there. And there are even sites that you can check out to make sure you're giving your dog a balanced diet. And you put it in overnight and you go to sleep. How hard is that? You wake up in the morning and there you go. You got doggy food for a whole week. And you pack it up into individual servings and it can be frozen and then reheated afterwards. But it's really not that complicated. And far better than the food that your dog is eating, the kibble or whatever your dog is eating at this point, because I don't know if you know the process. Dog's food starts out as real food, but by the time it's done, it's cooked 2 or 3 times at very high temperatures, practically wiping out all the nutritional value. And then on top of that, they literally take the they literally take the grease that you would take like from French fryer. They dump that, or something equivalent to that. They dump that on the dog's food, and that's to help it taste better. Because I mean, you overcook the food. How good could it taste? On top of that, they dump on a powdered protein and added supplements, and then they wonder why the dogs don't really like the food, and wonder why dogs get sick from this. So it's almost a no-brainer that healthy nutrition based on good food choices for your pet can only lead to a happier dog, a happier owner, and a healthier dog. Okay, and if you ever wonder why your dog suffers from tummy issues or not feeling well or sometimes throws up after eating, that's also part of the reason why. And in even senior dogs, like my dog is already 7 years old, and he's reaping the benefits from having this lifestyle. So, um, just to mention a few of the things that a healthy, natural lifestyle can help your pet with, it is just like when we eat properly, you can help what's disease prevention, so that they're not going to get sick as often. They don't, uh, they're going to get all that proper quality food and antioxidants to help them heal faster. They're going to be healthier weight, because a lot of the problems why dogs get overweight is because the commercial foods are just way too full of starches. Okay. And that's why a lot of dogs are 97% of the cases of obesity are because the dogs are being fed with commercial food. I like to call the commercial food like the McDonald's for our buddies. So if McDonald's type fast food, processed food is not healthy for us, why would we think something equivalent would be healthy for our buddies? Never mind all the extra chemicals and preservatives in there. There's many case studies that have shown that dogs that tend to eat a homemade diet lived for 13 or more years on average, whereas a dog that ate um, the typical kibble type diet lived at least 50% less. like 10 years or 9 years. So, that alone is a great benefit. All just like with us, all these antioxidants and proper food helps with their brain and the functionality of their brain. And skin issues, allergies. You wonder why your doggy has dry skin, sometimes gets sores. These are all caused by inflammation because of all the chemicals in the food. Okay, and they tend to be more, their skin tends to be more sensitive to even bites or scrapes or anything like that. And it's not just the diet. Our What I'm trying to provide here is an overall system that not only helps with the food, but it's going to help with natural health care as well, using aromatherapy and Bach flowers, if that's also something you're interested in. And these are the ways that we can help treat our buddies without going to like steroids and that type of thing. An example of this is my dog had what's called hot spots. What's a hot spot? Sometimes it's a cut that gets infected or inflamed, or an area of the skin that gets dry and irritated, and they keep licking at it, and it ends up building up into a sore. Now, this past summer, Teddy had, if this is his paw, he had one here and he had one right underneath it. I took him to the vet, and this last year the vet said to me, "Oh yeah, it's a hot spot." This year I took him to the vet, and the vet says to me, "No, it's psychological." How can it become a reaction to the environment, and then the next year all of a sudden it's a psychological issue? So the first time we treated it with the typical corticosteroids, cortisone cream, and it sort of worked okay. This time it wasn't working. So I looked up, what could I possibly do for my buddy? Lo and behold, I put lavender oil on his paw. Okay. Lavender oil, yes, it took a little bit longer to deal with it, but it's never come back. Now he's got one on the other paw, and we're doing the same thing. It's almost completely healed in just, what now, not quite 6 days. It started out about the size of a quarter. It's now about the size of an M&M. Okay, it's just in 5 days. It's shrunk that much because we're giving his little body the chance to heal itself instead of putting more things in to make it more complicated and to affect his body. So I mean, these are just a few ways, and you'll see by coming today, I'm going to have a special gift for you at the end that's going to explain to you some of the things that I'm explaining now. Okay, and you will have some neat ideas just to start out with, like simple food recipes and other simple remedies that you can do to take care of your buddies. And natural food that we're going to buy with our shopping anyway, and preparation time that's only very short, and cooking time is very limited, and you're going to be all set. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be really very, very simple with 5 or 6 ingredients, and you're going to get a balanced diet for your doggies and make them feel better. I even have a special link in here to a site that is a site that it was originally set up partially by a veterinarian. Okay, so exactly, if you put in, I'm going to give my dog 2 ounces of this type of protein or 5 ounces of this type of veggies or whatever, you know for sure you're going to get a balanced meal. Okay, and the time, the whole idea is to keep the time around building these menus or building these prepared meals very simple. Keep all the tools that you excuse me, all the tools that you need handy, so that once a week when you make the food, it's very quick and easy to do. And you want to, just like in our diet, you want to rotate the ingredients because our bodies need a variety of ingredients, and so do theirs. And you can, like I said, you can freeze the extras and you can then just warm them up as you need them. Okay, and of course, just like anything, it's based around their body weight. And the same with the natural treatments. Aromatherapy, for instance, like I said, you can use almost everything that we use for ourselves. The key thing is the amount, just like when you're giving it to a child. Exactly the same. And depending, just like kids, just depending on their age and their weight, and that's how much you give them. An example around that, I was one day at the post office, and next to the post office is the veterinarian's office. Okay. This lady came up with this tiny little dog, and the dog's like this, it could barely walk. Okay, nobody likes going to the doctor's office, and especially not our pets. So I said to the lady, give me 2 minutes, 2 minutes, just 2 minutes with your doggy. I always carry around a little bottle of lavender oil in my pocket or in my little teak that I carry. And I took out and I literally half of a drop, I smudged it between my fingers, went like this between the eyes of the dog to the back of its neck a few times to soften up the smell. Why do we need to do that? Because their senses are at least 10 times more stronger than ours. And then about this far away from about like this much away from the dog's nose, you start slowly. And within half a minute to a minute tops, this dog was totally different. The dog was calm. The dog could go into the vet and be treated and not go through a trauma of having to be in a veterinarian's office. And it's got to make you feel better because you know that your dog is going to be calm, even though he probably doesn't really want to be there. And I wouldn't want to be there either, honestly. Um, so, like I said, just about everything that we eat, they can eat. There are a few exceptions. And then the book, the little book I'm going to give you, it'll give you what those exceptions are. You can even supplement their food with additional vitamins and bone meal if you find that what they're getting is not enough. Now, what I would suggest is every once in a while, like especially at the beginning, like every couple of months, just get a quick blood test done and just make sure that everything's balancing okay in their diet. And then you can, after a very short time, it's gonna be so fast. You can do it with your eyes closed, and you're gonna see a huge difference. Like I said, my own dog, his energy level is giving him back at least 2 years what he had 2 years ago in an energy level. It's just incredible. He was at the vet a couple weeks ago. The vet said to me, he's never seen his blood test so clean and so healthy since 2 years ago. The difference is just the proof is in the pudding. I mean, if you do it, you're going to see the results. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any questions at this point?
I have a couple of questions just for those that maybe don't know you as well. You said that you had 29 years of experience in this holistic area. Can you just expound on some of the individuals that you've been able to work with and the validity that some of those relationships have given you?
So, I mean, as far as the paramedical field, so the conventional medical field, like I said, when I noticed that the similarities between us and doggies, their internal organs are at least 90% similar to ours. So anything that I learned in that field, I can apply to this field. You complement that with the natural medicine field, and it's limitless what you can do to help improve their health. Is that sort of what you were looking for?
Sure. And then
Yeah,
another
seriously,
question.
be honest. Be
I
honest, if it's not quite what you wanted.
No, that's good. That's good. Um,
Okay.
Another question. So say you've mentioned aromatherapy several times, but say like I don't even know anything about that. Like where would you have someone start? Like you mentioned a couple times, like anything you can use for us, you can use for
Pretty
your
much.
pets. But what if I don't even use it yet for me? Where would you suggest someone start?
What I'm going to be doing after this is I'm also going to be offering a webinar where we will be doing exactly that. We're going to be taking this even one step further. This is really just an introduction so that you know what the possibilities are. Okay, like I said, anything that we can do, the reflexology, the aromatherapy, the massage therapy, you name it, it can be done on pets. Even acupuncture can be done on pets, and they benefit from it greatly. Again, as far as what we can use in the way of aromatherapy, pretty much everything. There's a list of maybe about 10 aromatherapy oils that we can't use because they're toxic for our pets. And then again, the amount that we use is about the amount of age 0 to 3-year-old child, depending on the weight of the dog and the age of the dog. And I tend to tell people start more towards lower end because you can always add. And if you give them too much, then they might react in a way that you don't want it to react. Honestly, I have never seen a case in aromatherapy, at least, because aromatherapy is not taken internally as opposed to Bach. Bach flowers are usually added to the dog's water or whatever. So aromatherapy is less likely to have an adverse reaction. I've never personally seen an adverse reaction in a dog. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. Like I said, we're going to be offering very soon, in a couple of weeks, hopefully, a webinar that's going to explain exactly some of those things and even further expound on some of the diet ideas. Here's an example. Since the beginning of Corona, I am familiar with a dog, gorgeous dog, and it was traumatized because it was shot by a security guard. Okay. The dog was like, it didn't go on. Thank God it only grazed the dog's head, even though the dog had to get stitches. But between that trauma and what it had done to the dog's body, it affected the dog, the way the dog absorbed even the kibble food it was eating. And it was starting to turn more aggressive. I got the owner to agree to let me keep the dog at my place for 1 week. And then we would reevaluate, and it ended up actually being 2 weeks. And I used aromatherapy. Oh, and the other thing I also do with animals is music therapy. If you find, especially with animals, if you find they're getting anxious, put a little bit of soft music on in the background. Put a little lavender on their head, and you'll have a totally different dog, because the lavender or rosemary, depending on what your animal happens to like, because some like one over the other. A little bit of music therapy in the background, and it makes a whole lot of difference to that pet. They're so much more calm, and just it was same with humans. If we get upset, we listen to some music that we like. It helps calm us down too.
Beautiful. Any other questions from anyone else?
Don't be shy. It's okay.
Roxy?
Sure.
Hi. Does the same applies for cats, or
Yes.
cats are more delicate?
No, the same thing applies for cats. In fact, we'll be expanding our practice to cats very shortly. And I grew up around dogs my whole life. So I've recently, in the past couple of years, I've started more into learning more about the cats, and with the help of a couple of friends who have cats, learning more what the nuances are and what in their behavior and their body habits and what some of the things they've noticed that is better for cats. But yes, again, it all boils down to their weight and their age, and then that determines how much a dosage is. But it's exactly the same, age 0 to 3 amounts, and you always start on the lower end and slowly build up, and you'll see what's ideal for your pet.
Thank you.
Did you have a particular thing that was bothering your cat, or?
Yeah, this is my cat Dandy,
Uh-huh.
and he's kind of, I'll explain this. He's scared of all the noises. Like very scared, like, and I was thinking like he has some kind of trauma.
Guys,
And I
that's what's
just
just saying. How long have you had your cat?
2 years.
And how old was the cat when you got him? Him or her?
He was like 2 months.
So do you know if he went through a trauma prior to you getting him? Like maybe was he on the street or
No, he wasn't on the street, but he was in a house with two little girls who they really play them like toys. And the mom says one time the kids put them in a box and they couldn't find it until like late night, and they were there, really in bad situation. So
Yeah.
he's always very scared of any noise. And so in my last order with oils, I ordered the Trauma Life, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I think it will help him.
So again, the lavender oil and the music, and also there is a just like we have a remedy called Rescue Remedy. There's one already pre-made, a rescue remedy made for pets as well, and it basically is a combination of calming and relaxing type of oils that can also be used on pets as well.
Yeah, he loves the aromatherapy. He is always close to the diffuser, always. Any oil doesn't scare him.
Smart cat.
Yeah, but still, I think he needs a little extra care from,
Hey, lots of hugs from mommy. And like I said, and when you have a chance, I mean, even at nighttime, I sometimes play music at nighttime because my dog, when with all the health issues he dealt with, but also when he was about 6 months old, is when he heard his first fireworks. And it scared him so much he peed himself, literally. So ever since then, I notice if we hear in the background, in Israel, we often hear like pop, 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 pop noises from either guns or fireworks or something going on in the background. He'll immediately run into the apartment. And immediately, the first thing I'll do is I'll grab the lavender, put a little drop on him, and put some music on. He has his own little room that he hides in, and just give him time to calm down. That's the best thing you can do. And if he's willing to, if he's not wanting to be isolated, then you can pick him up and cuddle him and stroke him, and while he's absorbing all these things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's lucky to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Michael. There.
Whoa.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going? Got the
Good.
there's Mr. Bright. Say
Cool.
hello. There's the other one. Bright and Bonnie sitting here with him, just listening. What
Any
are your
questions?
thoughts in regards to we just took them on a car ride. We don't take them enough in the car, but they came back on a trip for 4 hours and didn't have any issues. That was when we got them back in June, but they're a little crazy in that he's better than she is, but like we took them out today and they were going ballistic. Yeah, just they won't calm down almost.
Again, I
Same
would say
thing as
something.
you've been saying.
Yeah, and also when they're in the car, because sometimes Teddy's okay in the car, but depending on how long the trip is, I will often play music in the car in the background, like soft type of music, and that just helps him. Because sometimes the noise of the traffic and all the, and I try not to open the windows or I'll put like just even if you just put the fan on just to keep him cool so it doesn't get warm in the car.
Yeah.
Music I find helps a lot.
Okay.
Music therapy. You know what they say, music calms the savage beast, right?
That's right. Well, I actually had to do a call today and my wife was gone, so I couldn't mess with them too much. I put them in their little area right behind me here. And but I had some Christmas music jamming and they freaking fell asleep. So it worked. So yeah. And I guess you're saying lavender is one of the main ones to.
So it depends from animal to animal and even from one, just like humans, we have our preference to what the things are we like. My dog he'll let me put lavender on him, but he much prefers rosemary.
Okay.
So they have similar qualities. So it doesn't. They're both,
Interesting.
antibacterial, and they're both very calming, and that combined with the music, and it's like your perfect band-aid.
Okay. And you just get the little bottles and then rub it on your fingers, you're saying, and then put it under their
Literally,
nose, or
half a drop, because you have to remember their senses are so much more stronger than ours.
yeah.
So it doesn't take long. And don't, if you don't wash your hands for, for a couple hours, I mean, it's antibacterial, so it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
That smell you can use on that same spot. You can use the smell from your fingers and use it for at least a couple hours. If you notice as they're slowly calming down that they get a little bit agitated, you just bring it back to their nose again and let them smell it again, and stroke them. So say, like I always say, mommy's here, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he comes, he's like, he's my little baby,
Yeah. They're doing pretty good. We got the window open here, and like she likes looking out the window more than he does. And she's been doing good, but she'll start. She was just barking right before I came on here. She heard somebody barking outside, but she's already calming down. So
Cool.
yeah, they're doing pretty good. So you're gonna come out with like a diet guide and different things. Is that what you're?
So yeah, I'm sending out, for those who attended the presentation, I'm sending out a link to I guess, where could we put the link? Can we put it in the chat? Let's see.
Yep, you can put it in the chat now.
I'll have to
Okay.
get it from you afterwards. I don't have on my
Okay.
phone.
Send it
Yeah,
to you.
also, yeah, put it in the chat. I'll grab it, so I'll have it in the replay.
Cool.
Whatever information you need and contact information, I'll put it in the replay because it'll be on YouTube.
Yep, there's the link right there.
Cool.
And right now it's basically pretty much what I went over, but more extensive today. It's about 10 pages long, and it just goes over some of the basics. And Roxy, if you have any questions, even after you see I mean, everything, I did it towards dogs, but everything in here can also apply to cats. Cats, I don't know, do your cats eat actual meat, or do you, because I know, because cats tend to maybe eat more fish, like, I don't know. What is your cat like?
Yeah, they eat food from the store. I mean, but he had a problem, and my daughter is working at one of those stores foods, and he supposes eating quality food, but it's still from the store. I think
Yeah,
he's.
you gotta be careful. I know there's so many aflatoxins in the food that can lead to things like kidney failure. Unfortunately, I have a friend whose cat's was going through kidney failure. I helped her with some ideas, aromatherapy, and some Bach flower, and a slight change in the cat's diet. Even if you only, I know people think, this is going to take me forever to prepare this food, but it really doesn't. You get so good at it, and you prepare it at the same time you're preparing your own food, and it becomes like second nature. And the same thing with cats. It's the same idea. And again, you can prepare a week ahead of time, put some in the fridge, put some in the freezer, and just take the little portion out that you need and warm it up as you need it. And it doesn't have to be hot like we do, because in fact you don't want it super hot, and it's already been cooked, so you don't have to worry about them not getting. Some people are into raw food for animals, and I know animals in the wild will eat a lot of raw food. But when you're switching them over, I tend to, I mean, I do know animals dogs especially, who are on partially raw food diets. It's a little bit different for their bodies. Their gut bacteria is slightly different than ours, and it's on a slightly different level than ours. So you have to be really careful how quick, if you want to go that way, how quickly you go that way. Even if you think you want to just like supplement your dog's or your cat's kibble at this point and slowly work them off onto a natural food diet. just like we as humans do sometimes. We can't always do that transition immediately. That's also more positive and more affirmative, and it's going to help their health. Any change you can make towards that is going to help them.
That's interesting to put him on that kind of food. But yeah, we love him and we don't want him to die soon.
How old is he?
He's 2 years now. 2 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
but we have also a senior, so we really need to, take good care.
Cats can lead even longer lives. I know some cats, if taken care of properly, that have lived to, what's wrong? How come it's not coming through? Positivelynatural.co. It's not coming through as a link for some reason. Can lead to like 18, 20 years life. Most dogs today, because of kibble and the way it's processed, they used to live exactly the same amount of time. Now they're only living to maybe 10 years. So you can only help them by trying to transition as much as possible to a regular food diet as opposed to the I mean, in the proof, like I said, I'm talking big brands like Hills and Pedigree, and these are big companies that the food's being recalled because of problem. My own dog was a company based in Hungary, and they took it seriously, which was really nice to see because I showed them in his blood work, and because of my medical background, I was explaining it to them. And I showed them, and they took his samples and the test results. They reevaluated their product because they had just recently changed the formula of their product. They reevaluated the product and agreed. And 5 other dogs after I reported my dog, came down with the same problem, and they reverted their product formula back to the way it was before until they could do further testing on it. So we have to speak out. These are our forever friends, as I like to call them, our best buddies, and we have to protect them. They protect us, they take care of us and give us unconditional love. So we have to do the same. We have to reciprocate. That's my thought, at least.
Yes,
Cool?
we are family now, us.
Yes. Cool. Okay, any other questions? No?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Thank you guys for being here. So the replay will be available in about 30 minutes on YouTube, and I will message it, and I'll have all of Robin's information in the comment section for you guys to get the book.
I'm going to add in here, sorry, my phone number. So if anybody has questions and they want to WhatsApp me, then please feel free to also WhatsApp me as well.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys. And thanks so much for staying up with us, Robin. And I'll get you the replay so you can get it to the rest of the individuals out your way that are already in bed.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Robin. Thank you for the information.
Midnight right now here. So.
Trooper.
Have a good
Yes.
one.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks so much, guys. Thanks to
Thank you.
Sheena.
Bye-bye.
Bye.